What if one of the greatest pioneers in history simply vanished into thin air? No crash site. No confirmed wreckage. No final goodbye. Just a signal. And then silence. This is the story of Amelia Earhart, a disappearance that still haunts them. Well, nearly a century later, Amelia Earhart wasn't just a pilot. She was a symbol of courage. In 1932, she became the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean, a feat so dangerous many believed it was impossible. But for Amelia, impossible didn't exist. She thrived in uncertainty. She chased the unknown, and in 1937, she set out to achieve the most ambitious flight in human history. Her mission was simple. On paper, to fly around the world, but not the easy route. She chose the longest path near the equator, over 29,000 miles of unpredictable terrain and endless ocean. It would test not just her skill, but her limits. Accompanied by her navigator, Fred Noonan, Amelia began her journey on June 1st, 1937, leg by leg. They crossed continents, from the United States to South America, to Africa, to India, and into Southeast Asia. Everything was going according to plan, until they reached Lae, New Guinea. This was where everything changed. The next leg of the journey would be the most dangerous of all. From Lae, they would fly over 4,000 kilometers of open ocean. No landmarks. No room for error. Their destination? Howland Island, a tiny strip of land in the vast Pacific Ocean. So small that even experienced pilots could miss it, and missing it meant disappearing forever. On July 2nd, 1937, Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan took off. The weather appeared stable. The aircraft, a Lockheed Electra, was fully fueled. But the real challenge wasn't mechanical. It was navigation. Without modern technology, Noonan relied on celestial navigation, using the sun and horizon to determine their position. But even the smallest miscalculation could mean being hundreds of miles off course. Hours into the flight, radio communication began to deteriorate. At first, the messages were routine. But then, something shifted. "We must be on you, but cannot see you." Their voices carried tension, confusion. Something wasn't right. The US Coast Guard ship Itasca, stationed near Howland Island, was waiting to guide them in, but communication was weak, unclear, one-sided. They could hear Amelia, but she couldn't hear them. Time was running out, fuel was limited. The sky above offered no answers, and below them, only endless ocean. Then came the final transmission, a message that would echo through history. "We are on the line 157337. We are running north and south." And then, nothing. No distress signal. No crash report. No trace. Amelia Earhart had vanished within hours. A massive search operation was launched. The United States deployed ships, aircraft, and personnel across thousands of square miles of ocean. It became the largest search effort of its time. But days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into silence. No debris was found. No oil slick. No floating wreckage. No evidence of impact. It was as if the plane had never existed. Officially, the conclusion was simple. Amelia Earhart ran out of fuel and crashed into the Pacific Ocean. A tragic but logical explanation, but many refused to believe it because the evidence was never found. And so the theories began. Some believe she didn't crash. They believe she landed on a remote island called Nikiuroro, a place isolated, unforgiving, and nearly impossible to escape. Artifacts have been discovered there. Fragments of aluminum, personal items, even bones once thought to match Amelia's profile. Could she have survived? Stranded, alone, waiting for rescue that never came. But the most chilling possibility came from the radio. In the days following her disappearance, radio operators across the Pacific reported receiving strange signals, weak transmissions, desperate calls for help. Some claimed to hear a woman's voice, coordinates, fragments of messages. If true, it would mean one thing: Amelia Earhart did not die immediately. She survived long enough to call for help, but no one ever found her. Another theory suggests something even darker, that Amelia and Noonan were captured by Japanese forces in the Pacific, taken prisoner, silenced. There are even claims, unverified, that she returned to the United States and lived under a different identity, a hidden life, a secret history. But despite decades of investigation, advanced technology, and countless expeditions, the truth remains unknown. Somewhere beneath the ocean's depths, or hidden on a forgotten island, lies the answer. Amelia Earhart didn't just disappear. She became one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of all time. A story suspended between fact and speculation, between history and legend, and even today, nearly 90 years later, we are still searching, still questioning, still listening for a signal that may never come again. So what do you believe? Did Amelia Earhart crash into the ocean, or did she survive somewhere the world never found? Tell me your theory in the comments, and follow for more real mysteries that still have no answers.